Let's do it. Stretch. All right. So first video in days with no accompaniment, so we can get a proper catch up on how things are going. Um, we've been working a lot on scapular dyskinesis for the arm. I think it's working. Let me finish this one stretch, and I'll demonstrate the motion that we're working on. That seems the really real thing that's coming out of it is that I'm paying a lot more attention to my posture in general, standing and sitting. So this motion here, I got a little pop in there. It only exists when I'm standing or sitting up. If I'm laying on a bed, I don't get it as much. I don't get it when I'm doing it here. I get it a little different. It has to be greater than that angle. So it's better. It was happening in all angles, so it's definitely getting better. Try to like put my shoulders back a little more often, particularly when I'm walking. My sitting posture is still not great, but walking I'm definitely better than that. I know it's just like the looking at your phone thing. It like pulls your head down and pulls your everything forward. Um, yeah, mostly just get them shoulders back, get the head up a little. Don't getting, and I start reading a lot about posture and stuff, and that's interesting to me when there's people who don't disagree, but they're like, well, look, like sometimes sitting in one position is like more comfortable than sitting in another, and so it's some they're just better at different things, but yeah, they're not arguing like the long term obvious existence of whether it feels good in XYZ posture. Uh, One of the changes now is focusing on both arms, uh, so we don't get an imbalance. There's definitely a phenomenon where you overtrain one arm or the other, and we're rapidly approaching that. I think we were right on the cusp. Like we started doing the workout in a more balanced fashion in time. Um, so I don't think we have much to worry about there. Um, Interested in like the pain in the forearm is definitely improved. I think a large portion of it was uh, diagnosed as muscle adhesion, and the treatment of it is basically massage, but not. You could either big long swooping massages or Graston style, or just looking for like lumps in the muscle and just putting pressure on them for about 30 seconds at a time. Because if you're doing a long swooping massage, you feel it's like kind of bumpy, and you just basically it's you send collagen by massaging it to the plate. You get the massage. Particularly in my case, there's people who think muscular adhesion is a bit of a non-medical diagnosis. It's like uh, non-medical diagnosis, but physical therapists and massage therapists and chiropractors will say like, oh yeah, muscle adhesion here, and then they do the treatments that they would use. Sometimes foam rollers on it, like Graston is like a more intense version of a foam roller, or doing any kind of rubbing massage or the pressure massage I'm talking about. All those things are just like get that trapped uh, uh, muscle to sort of release and go like it, but I'm not explaining it very well. But in my case, the more medically recognized version of muscle adhesion, it comes from traumatic surgery. So that is, I did have surgery, and thus I did have the thing that they would consider to be muscle adhesion. Come on, brighten up. So in this case, it's like the more widely accepted, like, well, this is definitely a thing. So the forearm muscle was building up a lot of scar tissue to support its use in a slightly different manner because the bicep was torn. And it was like I need to do these like extra hard motions and difficult lifts that I wasn't doing before. And in order to like aid that kinesiology, I'm going to build a bunch of scar tissue that like make it easier for you to execute this motion you're doing with the wrong muscles. And then now the muscle's back. So we're like, well, that like 5 weeks of it being like, let me like do this for this emergency is like, yeah, we don't need that anymore. But it's like, well, I already built it. So you're kind of breaking it up and getting it to go back to normal. We're definitely stepping up weights. We're doing this hammer twist like a lot more like elevated with like a 10-pound weight, and I was like, wow, this is really hard because like at home I'm like, oh, the 4-pound weight, la 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 la. But they gave me the 10-pound weight and they put it way up and kind of like isolated it, so it was like all forearm. Plus it was like at the end of the workout, so like a lot more tired, just like energy is spent, muscle is tired. And I was like, holy crap, this is actually kind of hard. When I would have been interested in trying it with like a 20-pound weight. We do a lot of these push-ups that, well, they're not even like a push-up. You get into a push-up, we get on your knees and put your hands down. You get on your hands and knees, shoulders over your hands, and knees nice and straight. And then you push up so that you're as up as you can get. And you pick up like left arm, and you make sure you keep up and keep that shoulder engaged and everything going. And then you just kind of go in like a circle, like clockwise and then counterclockwise 20 times. It's surprisingly difficult because all you're doing is doing this like one arm stand and rotating slightly, just a little bit. Just except your hand's staying still, so your body is going around instead. And we'd been doing that for 2, now going on 3 weeks. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm like handling this. The first time I did it, I was like, this is like really hard. And now it's like week 3 and I'm like, yeah, I can do this. So they're like, oh, start doing it with your left as well. And then doing it with the left was like starting over with the right. My right arm being my dominant arm, but injured. So however that math, like +1 here, -1 there, I was like, this is kind of hard. And then just doing it with my left arm, which is not injured, I was like, it's about as hard as starting with my repaired, injured right arm. It was good. So it means we're like, it was like time to put that in as a workout. The one thing I want to ask my therapist, but I don't know why I like shy away when it's like the end. They're like, okay, we're done for the day. And I'm like, oh, but okay, I've been having this like little pain. Hello, kitty. Oh, she actually showed up on the downstairs video. What's up? You don't want to get bonked by the weight? Here, sniff it. Goofy. Oh, I get this little pinch. I think right at where the ribs meet the back. It's always getting better. So I think it might be a pinch of just like muscle being used that's like never used. So that's kind of cool, if that's true. If that's what's going on. I've lost count whether I've done this twice on each arm, so I'm just gonna do it again. We did some workout. We did some different rubber band elastic workouts. Basically stepping it up. We'd always done these ones where like put the band on a wall at about waist high, about where your arms, a little above your waist. So you're standing there with your arm like this, and you're just going out, out, and you're pulling this band, and your elbow is locked. And they give you you can give you a towel, so you like pinch the towel and then you do it. You make sure you're engaging the right muscles. And today we moved to one where it's like this, and we're doing it differently. Instead of just doing it down there, it was like, yeah, engage. And then there was one where we were pulling it up, pulling it up. And those were slightly more challenging. My therapist is being very careful about overloading it. She's worried that some of the damage we were seeing was from going too hard too fast, except that I was showing so many signs of recovery that were like fast and positive, that she was like, yeah, we should be going this fast. And then when we did, I complained about the popping in the arm and stuff. So I'm glad that the things she's doing are addressing it. I have a minor concern that the popping has gone down. I used to do a thing where we're doing like a thing like this, and I could feel some popping, but now I don't feel it when I do it. So I can go here, I don't feel it. Go out to the side. Honestly, it comes and goes out to the sides. It's like every other lift, not quite. So it's definitely an improvement. It seems to just be more or less like bad scapular posture and motor control. My doctor was kind of making fun. He's like, yeah, you probably have terrible dyskinesia. We're not really sure what he meant by that, because she's like, I don't agree with his diagnosis. So you don't have terrible dyskinesia, but you do have dyskinesia. And now that it's like somewhat under control, maybe we get back to some strength building in the arm. We are at week 9, I believe, and these are titled. So we should be about 85%. If 85% means that my right arm is about as strong as my left arm, we're about on track. So that feels good. I have played with a 20-pound weight, like do it very slow and carefully up, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. One of the things my doctor warned me about was the first thing you rebuild is just the slow strength, and then you have like the more explosive and fast movements. And so I managed to ask him a weird question I'd had for a long time. I was like, oh, I like to throw stuff in the trash. And he's like, yeah, I like the overhead, like, don't go fast. You can go underhand as fast as you want. Overhand, we're a little bit worried about that. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've had that question. I've been like, I want to throw stuff in the trash. And he's like, don't use that arm that fast. And I can kind of feel it just doing that. So first you build some strength, and then you build some fast strength, then you build the explosive strength. So hopefully we'll be moving into things like that. Really not sure what our timetable is. When we reach week 12, supposedly the repair will be as healed as it's ever going to get, which will be week 11 of PT, versus that would be the 12th week of recovery, because we had 1 week off before we went to PT. At some point, the PT almost just becomes like a trainer you go to for a workout. I tried running it on my watch today, and my watch doesn't have a good like indoor workout thing. And sometimes you're sitting in one place like curling weights and stuff, instead of like jumping around, moving around. So it wants you to be like walking around and stuff. But yeah, it's going good. Hopefully, I got a ton of videos I can upload that Cray and I have been recording. They're a little different. We did a little bit of munch in the middle of one of the Master Chief videos when my arm was recovering, and I didn't want to play because I was being careful. So we're doing a bunch of munch like quick. We're like doing like a game done quick version of that to try and get the worst karma we can in the game and get a bad ending. Because most people play that don't do that. So I was like, oh, let's see what that's like. So that'll be coming up in some weeks, and hopefully Wednesday we'll put up some more Eternal Darkness, which is doing okay for the site. And yeah, other than that, I figure out what Cray and I will do after we finish our bad karma run. And we've got tons of videos, tons of options for Andy and I, especially as we discovered you can replace like textures and stuff in games on the Dolphin emulator. It's like, it's kind of cool to see games that look like that. So, see you guys tomorrow.